Hello everyone and welcome to this video where I cover the top 3 class recommendations for newcomers to the Elder Scrolls Online. Now these recommendations are with a few things keeping in my mind. So they are very forgiving at the beginning game of the stage, like the begin stage of the game. They start with some great abilities, but also at the end game they are still very forgiving. They are overall a little bit more tanky than the other class recommendation I'm going to give, and I will also cover why I didn't recommend the other classes. So the top 3, number 1, first of all, we're starting off with Templar. Templar is my number 1 recommendation for newcomers to the Elder Scrolls Online. And the reason why the Templar is number 1, first of all, you get the Templar already in the base game, so you don't need any DLC, you don't need any expansions, nothing. Secondly, the Templar has some great abilities. The Adric Spear has some great abilities, single target AoE damages. Then the Dawn's Rev has some very nice overtime damage effects. And then the next one is Restoring Light. That is very, very forgiving. I really like Restoring Light because you start off with Rushed Ceremony. You can spend your Magicka to quickly heal yourself. So if you're new to the game and you mess up, you get low health, not a lot of classes start off with a healing ability directly from the bat. And Templar is one of the few that actually starts off directly with a heal. Later on you also can get a rune that will increase your physical and spell resistance. And at the end game, Templars can be very strong, both in PvE and PvP. And both in PvE and PvP, they can still be very forgiving. And Templars make for great healers. So if you're gonna roll a healer, for example, you will be quicker into dungeons and pledges than when you are running a DPS. So apart from that, you also quickly get in dungeons. So that's why Templar makes number 1 cut for me, because it's the base game, it's forgiving, and it has a pretty easy learning curve. Number 2 is the Warden, and the Warden is my number 2 choice because it starts off with a great single target ability, it starts off with a great healing ability, and it also starts off with a great buff ability and increase of physical and spell resistance. Later on you can get some great AoEs quite early in the game, and you also can get some great AoE healing abilities and some restore over time abilities that will increase your recovery and increase your weapon or spell damage. Apart from that, the Warden is extreme versatile in whatever role. Like, you can build the Warden literally for anything. So if you ever want to reroll, you can easily do that. The Wardens, like, they are absolutely amazing. They can make great tanks, they can make good healers, they can make good DPS, both in PvP and PvE. And last but not least, I chose the Dragon Knight. The Dragon Knight starts with some very good single target abilities, so not really any AoEs there, and it also starts with Spiked Armor, which is extremely nice because it increases your physical and spell resistance by 5.3k. So that's a big increasement, especially at low level, which makes you really tanky, and thus it is a more forgiving class, as you can take more damage, so you can afford to mess up a little bit more. However, you don't really have a healing ability until later on, which can be a bit harder unless you use like a two-handed weapon or anything like that for your heal, which most people with a Dragon Knight actually do. Now, let me quickly cover why I didn't choose the Sorcerer or the Nightblade, for example. Why I think Sorcerers and Nightblades can actually both be really good. Stamina Sorcerers, for example, have a bit of a harder learning curve. Especially for new players, I wouldn't recommend a Stamina Sorcerer because it can be a bit harder. Magicka Sorcerer is really great. I mean, you have a shield, you can have pets. So why didn't I recommend the Magicka Sorcerer? Because I see a lot of people who don't really know or do not properly keep their shields up. And the Magicka Sorcerer is squishy if you don't have your shields up. If you don't know how to CC break, for example, in PvP or PvE, those are the moments that an enemy player can quickly nuke you down. And thus, it isn't very forgiving like as a Templar. If as a Templar you have your buffs up, down, or as a Dragon Knight and you get CC'd, overall it will still be hard to quickly kill you. But if that happens to a Magicka Sorcerer or a Sorcerer without shields or anything, it will be harder to get out of such a situation. Now the Nightblade, well, the Nightblade is really great. Honestly, I see Nightblades all the time being played by new players. And they run around with like 12k health or anything like that, and they get one-shotted by the bosses in the daily dungeons if I do a random daily. If I do PvP, like, everyone is going for the low health Nightblade that is spamming snipe in the back. So that's why I didn't recommend the Nightblade either. I mean, of course you can build a Nightblade differently, but keep in mind these are overall new players. And a new player will definitely have a hard time with building his own unique character. Like, I don't mean that mean, but he will have a hard time with optimizing it because he is totally not used to the Elder Scrolls Online or the whole system. And there is a lot to the Elder Scrolls Online. I mean, when I started out this game, first it took me like 2 or 3 months before I even started running my first series build, before I was running just some random abilities and spamming the shit out of them. And I played since the game's release, so back in the day, everyone was like pretty much a noob slash pleb who did that. But nowadays you have so many tryhards that just gonna like nuke a 12k or 70k health Nightblade, whether it be in Battleground or Cyrodiil, within a matter of seconds. So that's why I recommended these three, because they can just be much more forgiving, they can be more tanky, and that way it will be more enjoyable for a player because he might actually feel useful instead of being able to like fire that one arrow or land that one ability and then directly die afterwards. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to share it with other people, and if you need a beginner's guide, build for PvP, PvE, gold guides, leveling guides, anything, check out learneso.net. I wish you guys a great day. Do not forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I see you in Terminal. Bye bye, I'm out.